Getting a lot of questions about this video that appeared on Twitter today of this Embraer 135 aircraft falling out of the sky in what appears to be, in my opinion, clearly a case of a crippled aircraft descending out of the clouds. Here's what little we know so far. Here on the Aviation Safety Network, Embraer EMB-135 Legacy 600, owner-operator, Wagner Group, registration Romeo Alpha 027905, 10 fatalities, 10 occupants, near the Tver region of Russia, en route. An Embraer Legacy 600 jet crashed in a field near, well, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, the Tver region of Russia, bursting into flames. All 3 crew members and 7 passengers have died. Videos posted on social media purportedly of the accident show an aircraft spiraling down with a white vapor smoke trail. Other imagery shows the burning wreckage of the aircraft in a field. So as I review this video, first it's amazing somebody caught it. We see this white bit of smoke up here, some more white smoke here, and then the crippled aircraft tumbling out of the sky here. We can also hear a jet noise, whether it's 1 or 2 jet engines, I don't know. My first thought would be, would that be a second jet in the area? But this jet noise goes away once this aircraft impacts the ground.
Пиздец, это беспилотник. Сбили, бабахнуло 2 раза, взорвалось, падает.
Now we back this up. This aircraft is a crippled aircraft. It's not a classic spin out of the clouds. It's not a classic loss of control. It's not a classic stall spin scenario. It doesn't even appear to be a classic in-flight breakup where you initially lose control of the aircraft. You start for example, you get into IMC conditions, you get disoriented. Like so many of these crashes start out, the aircraft begins in a spiraling descent, increasing airspeed until which time they get to VNE, or the maximum airspeed for the airframe, and then pull too many G's and then pull the aircraft apart. This aircraft is just simply falling straight out of the sky in a very crippled fashion. And from this video, I can't even tell if we're looking at, do we have both wings on the aircraft? I believe both wings are on the aircraft, but it looks like the aircraft is tumbling as if, to me, a section of the tail might be missing. But it's just slowly tumbling, ass over tea kettle. Still producing a bit of smoke there. Then it looks like it goes inverted and then impacts. So clearly an aircraft crippled somehow, whether this aircraft was shot down or blown up internally remains to be determined. And of course, the truth is the first casualty in war, and we're never going to get the straight story as this happened over in Russia. Very little flight data over here on Flight Radar 24. The aircraft was simply taking off and cruising in a straight line, climbing up to 28,000 feet, and then just loses all data. Here's a better picture of the aircraft. Romeo Alpha 02795, the Legacy 600 Embraer, excellent safety record. If we look at the safety record of the Embraer aircraft, 0 fatalities, except for, remember this midair back in 2006 in South America? That was the 737 that went down. The Embraer was able to make it back home safely. That's a long story and a very interesting story as to what happened to that crew and the air traffic control situation that they were dealt with. And 0 fatalities until we get to this accident today with 10 fatalities. Though we may never get to the bottom of what actually happened here, it appears to me that this first puff of white smoke here was the initial explosion that brought this aircraft down, an explosion from within inside of the aircraft. Remember, at 28,000 feet, you're going to have probably 4 or 5 pounds PSID differential pressure on the pressurized aircraft, which will be a force multiplier for any small explosion on board the aircraft, which subsequently brought the aircraft down. Thank you so much for your support of this channel, especially the folks over on Patreon that make this content possible. See you here.